Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whichever part of the world you're joining this podcast. Thank you so much for all the responses I'm getting for my podcast and all the love you people are showering on it. So the concept of this podcast has been that when we talk of women empowerment, we mostly or generally do not consider any viewpoints of men and their views are sidelined. So the idea of the podcast is to interview men exclusively and know their thoughts about women, know how they perceive women or how their experience has been working with women and on different aspects in life and be it personal or professional, so that we together as a society create a safe space for men and women both. So in series of podcast today again I have one of the very eminent personalities, Wing Commander RD Deshpande sir. Welcome sir, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Sonali.
Absolute pleasure having you here.
Same. I think I resonated with you totally. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor and privilege to be on the podcast with you.
Thank you so much. So much. So we've been planning it for quite some time and finally I've been able to record this. So I'm glad and I'm quickly going to introduce sir. So when I always say quickly, it is like, they do have like a long introduction, but then due to time constraint, I always only speak few lines about them, but you can always connect to the guest speakers on social media platforms. So sir has a very prominent presence on LinkedIn and people can get in touch with him by the name Wing Commander RD Deshpande. So getting back to his introduction, Wing Commander RD Deshpande, Resident PR Professionals and Confianza Consultancy. Previously he headed the L&D team at Byju, where he spearheaded critical initiatives aimed at organizational behavior. A decorated military veteran, Wing Commander RD is recipient of the prestigious Chief of the Air Staff Commendation for exemplary leadership during his career in the Indian Air Force. He has also held leadership roles in esteemed organizations such as Reliance Retail, Byju, ISHRAE and Critical Care Unified Pvt Ltd. He has completed his courses from various esteemed organizations and institutions globally, such as XLRI, Jamshedpur, Welch Management Institute, ISHRAE University, US. With over 28 years of rich and diversified experience in people functions, Wing Commander RD says he's a visionary strategist and an expert in defining policies, processes and implementing reforms. He is a certified behavioral trainer, excelling in outbound facilitation and experiential training. He is also an executive presence coach. So that's just a very short introduction about sir. But thank you so much, sir, for being here.
Thank you once again. Thank you, Sonali.
Yes, and it's absolutely great to know about you and your experience. So I'm just straight away diving into the subject, and I would like to know, who have been the women around you who you have supported, or personally and professionally.
Thank you so much. First of all, Sonali, talking on the subject of women, is really a heartwarming thing because we are born from the mother's womb. The first encounter that we have with the human beings is with a lady whom we call as mother. So that's the genesis of our existence. And if we recall that existence well, we will know what women mean to us and what women, are meant to the world. They are the givers. So I was born, and then after coming into the existence, I've been surrounded with women all through my life in the form of mother, sister. I have two sisters who were instrumental in shaping my younger days. I got married. My wife was instrumental in shaping me what I am. While working in the forces, we were privy to the fact that women entry had started in the forces in the officers' cadre, and that's one of the reasons where we closely interacted with women folks also. So women have been part of journey. If we discount the fact whether it is personal or professional, life is a journey. If you look at the journey, you will always find that you have women at every pit stop in your life. They will play different roles. They have different contributions to make. They have different substances to bring on platter, and that's the charisma of life. So if you want to celebrate life, you can never take women out of it. So that's the beauty of it, and I'm grateful and thankful that I have women who supported me through and through. And after all I can say is I have nothing more to say but the sheer gratitude from the depth of my heart, which goes out to them in the form of thank, and wherever I can support, or wherever I have got the opportunity to support, I have always done that. So celebrating small bit of achievements. I have two daughters, so now the next phase is starting. So like I said, you are never out of woman in your life. You will always find yourself. I have such beautiful Sonali with me. So how can we say that we are always surrounded by women?
I know.
So
Women are always part of. So when you like mentioned about women officers entry into the Air Force, so
right.
during that time, how was your experience? Because I'm sure when like women join, then after that, how has been the structure or infrastructure, organizational structure? How was that experience, or anything you would like to share?
So, fortunately for us, Sonali, women officers had started being part of the defense forces in the officer cadre about 3-4 years before I joined. Okay, and there was some structure which was already put in place, and like any system, it takes time to mature, and it's a process. With experiences, with different challenges, with different opportunities. So system matures over a period of time. So when we joined, we were already in that cusp of maturity. Where things were kind of taking shape. Previous courses or previous lady officers who had passed out, we had heard different stories about it. Okay, that's after we joined after we got commissioned and joined the a particular station. We went on, we interacted with other fellow officers, lady officers, who gave us different story which we were not privy to till then. So we got to understand that this journey is something which cannot be cut short, and it only comes with the maturity. Because if you see typical armed forces is a different ball game altogether, and it has its own set of challenges. Like example, as young officers, we had to do night duties. I'm sure you would have done it. So, and during night duty, you have to do perimeter check, guard check, this, that, falandi, cover, all that. So when you go in the vehicle, okay, there were apprehensions about security. How will lady officers go? What will happen? Now you can't have two officers, otherwise the purpose gets defeated. So these were the kind of complexities which evolved over a period of time, but the maturity came that no, lady officers are self-sufficient. They do not require a separate, being in the part of this armed forces, they do not require a different kind of security or safety. They are self-sufficient. They are trained like that. So, but for that thinking to take shape, it requires time. That maturity takes time, is what I'm saying. A classical example, having woman toilet, separate woman toilet. There used to be some kind of a talk in the stations, that every place you need to create one lady woman toilet separately. So these are the kind of challenges which once you go through it, then only you experience it, then you find the way, and that's how the system progresses.
Absolutely. What you said is very true and very correct. So, how do you encourage women around you? That is your either be it in your personal or professional life. Because I'm sure in your professional life also you must be having female colleagues or junior or senior level. So, how do you encourage them to do better in life?
So I have been also a trainer and of course a coach. Okay, post retirement, but otherwise in the forces, I found women more encouraging than men. Okay, that's a sheer fact because of the classical qualities of the motherly caring and nature. That which comes to women naturally. So nurturing is what comes to women naturally, while nurturing from a different angle comes to the males differently in the form of
Yes.
being playing the role of a father, wherein there are checkpoints. Even at our home there are some checkpoints, this, don't do this and stuff like that. But coming to professional side, I think I have always made a point to support wherever I can for the women colleagues who have worked with me, or who to a part of the organization wherever I have been. So I have always made it a point to support them in their own endeavors, in terms of guiding them, in terms of letting them know. Typical example I'll give of Byju's. We had which was my last stint before this, very young workforce. Majority of them just freshers, college pass outs, post graduation pass outs. Majority of them, this was their first job. So they always they took up the work and great at doing the work. But then they always had a challenge ki what we should do next. We don't have the clarity. So abhi to kaam kar rahe hain, we are working, but then where do we go next? What is the vision that we can create for ourselves? So this is where I used to connect with them, give them some guidance. Of course, it was a personal one-on-one connect with whoever I could. Support, it's a mutual give and take support. But in terms of propagating the idea of asking for a support, or in terms of guiding them, is what I have done in plenty. I was also posted at NDA, as instructor. Of course, that time we did not have the women folks part of the NDA, which is now. But then we did have colleagues, female colleagues who were working as instructors, whom we used to interact closely, and wherever I could chip in, I used to do that. So I've been throughout. I've been very, very wholeheartedly supportive of the female community, and I would say with quite a heartfelt gratitude towards them, that they have been doing so many other things also despite being part of the community.
So that's a great share, sir, from your side. So also I would like to know, like, what are the qualities you feel that especially women can bring in, where men should be able to learn from them?
There are plenty, I would say. To start with, the way you guys can multitask, I can never do. My wife, keeps saying, when you get involved in one work, you have a unidirectional approach. You discard every other thing. But then the fact remains that yes, women are the greatest multitaskers, I believe. The kind of multitasking and the kind of having different things in your mind and accomplishing all of them in a day itself. I mean, I salute. It's very difficult for us. If woman of the house goes on leave, I'm not sure what is going to happen to us. So it's very difficult. But apart from that, I think the compassion which comes naturally to you is really commendable, and is what is the motherly nurture. If you want to sow a seed in Mother Earth, vis-a-vis you hold the seed in your hand, it's the quality of Mother Earth which will give birth to that seed, and in the form of a seedling. So this quality of nurturing, this quality of compassion to bring out the best in the child, to bring out the best in the individuals, to bring out the best in the house, is something which I salute, I always admire and I salute. Another, we are talking of Industry 5.0. We are moving from Industry 4.0 to Industry 5.0. Now, one of the most essential skills that is going to be paramount, or that is going to be decider, are the transferable skills. And if I talk of transferable skills, then emotional intelligence and empathy, they come in on top of the line, apart from agility, perseverance, and all those sort of things. So this emotional intelligence and empathy, I think men are trying to learn from women. All women, they have this natural inbuilt quality of being empathetic toward others, understanding. There are many other things. Then I'm sure there are other things in the form of leadership qualities. You talk of communication. There are so many other things, aspects.
In a way, I think yes, mutually we learn from each other. Like, not every gender would have same attributes, so we definitely
Correct.
learn from each other. The idea behind this question is that when you know these things and you understand women better, that is the time you can accommodate better with them.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that was the reason behind it. So coming towards our last question, I would definitely like to ask you, that is, what is that one advice you would want to give to men to make a better working place for women?
I think being more accommodative is what I would say. Keeping patience and being more accommodative, giving freedom to women to explore, respecting their choice of their choices, rather than forcing, or rather than narrowing down your choices on them. Okay, it's better to give them freedom to choose. Like, I have given my daughters to choose what they want to do in life. Okay. Similarly, my parents gave choice to my both sisters to choose what they want to do in their life. So I got those genes inherited, I think. And what I learned is that when you give choice to anyone and everyone, being human, we are all individuals, and we should not be caught in the web of things where you are dictated. No one likes being dictated. That's the inherent quality, human quality. Okay, and we have broken the shackles of Mughal era. We've broken the shackles of the British rule, which was drawn upon us. So those were the days wherein the patriarchal system was forced upon the society. If you see Indian society, as if you talk as Indian old ancient Indian society, we were a very tolerant people. Okay, we had the respect for each and everyone in this society. We had the respect for women. हम बोलते हैं ना यत्र नार्या पूज्यन्ते रमन्ते तत्र देवता. This is a saying, but then we used to practice it. It is not just a saying. We used to practice it in our daily lives. Now, if you talk of this, even Indian philosophy, if you connect Indian philosophy with physics, okay, women are considered to be the potential energy behind the kinetic energy. Okay, which means in our gods and goddesses, we say that gods perform because of the goddesses. The acts which have been displayed by the gods have been because of the forces, supporting forces or nurturing forces from the goddesses. So that's the basis of our very existence. That's the basis of our, ancient Hindu traditions, which unfortunately, because of the long ruling history by the outsiders, our systems got corrupted, and we are in this situation wherein we are now talking of things which we used to do earlier. Okay, and we are trying to get there. So I think there is a great requirement for people to understand that give space. Respect comes from inside. Respect is not forced. So as long as you have your upbringing right, as long as you have understanding about the woman limitations, what limitations they work with, what kind of complexities they have to go through in their life. I'm sorry to say, but even today the households don't discuss about the problems with the woman folk. Typically, a classical example of periods. At our home, we have a very open discussions around it. Communication, because this is a human problem. Even if you don't take it as a problem, this is a human nature cycle. So you need to understand that during this period, what all woman goes through, if you understand it, it will bring in a lot of semblance to you in terms of how do you create the coping mechanisms around them. And once you create that atmosphere, it becomes so beautiful. It becomes so nurturing. It becomes so peaceful and loving atmosphere anywhere and everywhere that goes. So this is the thing that I would tell to women folks, to men folks, my peers, and in the same arms. So
I think that's a very wonderful point you've brought out, because understanding creates more of a better communication. It opens up, and that's how you create a better environment, I would say. So definitely yes, and thank you so much, sir. It was a great discussion, and thanks for sharing your viewpoints and valuable inputs. So we'll catch up soon, and all of those who want to get in touch with sir, his presence is there on LinkedIn by the name Wing Commander RD Deshpande. So you can check it out, and do share, subscribe, and comment on the podcast. It's called Men's Talk Down. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you.